Hi, my name is Elizabeth. I am a librarian at the Central Library in downtown Des Moines. Thank you for joining us for another episode of our Spark Stories series. Today, we're here with Zuli Garcia, who founded Knock and Drop Iowa in 2020 to provide food and essential items to the Latinx community. The organization is helping families across Iowa connect to local resources. Today, you'll hear Zuli's Spark story, or what motivates her to strengthen the community. Zuli, thank you so much for being here with us today. Um, can you tell us about Knock and Drop and what that organization is doing?
Sure. Thanks, Elizabeth, for inviting me. Well, as you just stated, we started Knock and Drop Iowa in March of 2020 during the pandemic because a lot of our people, when I say our people, our Latinx community, our Latino community, were suffering. They were losing jobs, restaurants were closing down. And a lot of our friends reached out to us and said, hey, we don't want food to go to waste. We don't want to throw away food. How about we give it to you and you give it to families in need? And I was like, sure, I can do that. So I started out of the back of my Jeep, and I would go pick things up and I would just give them out and they'd be gone in less than 30 minutes. So then I started realizing as I kept doing that with volunteers, we decided to name the project Knock and Drop. Why Knock and Drop, everyone asked? Well, Knock and Drop because of the pandemic. We wanted both our volunteers and our families to feel safe. So Knock and Drop meant you knock on the door and you drop the food and you walk away and you just make sure that the food is picked up. So we called the project Knock and Drop, and we started with about 5 volunteers. And we were serving anywhere from 30 to 50 families a week. Then it turned into 200 families a week. And then we were like, oh my goodness, this is definitely a huge need in our community. And I felt as an advocate for my community, how did I not even realize this? And so that's when we decided, you know what, this project was only supposed to be for a couple months, because in all reality, I never thought that the pandemic was going to last this long. So we thought it was just going to be a simple project, but it turned into a full blown organization that now, by the end of December 2020, we had serviced about 10,000 families. And right now we're in July 2021, and we've already surpassed 10,000 families.
That's incredible. And do you recall a specific experience which inspired you to choose food as a focus for your work? What's the spark that inspired you to focus on that particular need?
Listening to family stories brought back a story from my dad. I remember my dad telling me at one point that he in high school was not eating. He had 3 days that he had not ate anything. And so he had a teacher. My dad ended up fainting. And when my dad fainted, a teacher went to his rescue and asked him what was wrong with him. And my dad said, well, I haven't eaten for 3 days. And so this teacher took it upon himself to serve my dad a pan francés con frijoles, which is what do you want to call it? A baguette with beans inside every single day. So until my dad finished high school, this teacher took it upon himself to serve my dad a baguette with beans inside every single day until he finished high school, because he didn't think that a kid should be going without food. And so when my dad told me that story, to be honest with you, that broke my heart, because like it's hard. It's hard to believe that a kid would go through those things. Sorry. So listening to families now, um, when I started this project, listening to kids' stories telling me that ever since they met me or met the organization, they have food on their table is huge. You can't walk away from that. You can't just decide, oh, I started a project and I'm just going to walk away and be okay with it. Like, as a human being, I can't do that. I can't just say, you know what, this is a project and I'm done with it. And I'm tired. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm tired, but my spark and my courage and my strength to keep fighting is because I see these families that are struggling. I meet them on a daily basis, and their stories to me hit my heart because it reminds me of my dad. And I've to myself, I think we live in the US. How is it that a family is going without food? But we have them out there, folks. We sure do. And so that's why Knock and Drop was born. And I hope that Knock and Drop is here to stay for a very long time to keep helping our community, because this organization is culturally based for the Latino community. We service what we eat, which is rice, beans, eggs, milk, pan dulce mexicano, meat. We add cereal for the kids, cookies, things, tomate, chile verde, cebolla, things that we eat. So, as I've told others, I love everyone's support because I know that there's people out there that want to support us. But I also know that unfortunately, they don't know what we eat. So we do it culturally specific for the Latino community, and it's in Spanish and bilingual. So when you come to our center, we are serving people in the language that they feel comfortable in.
Yeah, that's so important, I think, to make sure that the food is something they're familiar with. So when they're coming, they know how to prepare it. They know, exactly what it is.
Prepare is the key word right there, Elizabeth. You just hit a key word that I've told others is, if you give a box food to one of our families, they have no idea how to prepare it. They have no idea how to read those instructions because they're in English. The kids don't eat that. It's simple as this. We interviewed one of our young volunteers, our youth volunteer, and I asked him, Armando, do you eat mashed potatoes and gravy? And he looked at me and he said, no. And I said, why not? He goes, because I don't eat that at my house. Well, what do you eat at your house? He says, beans, eggs, rice. So the person that was interviewing us at that moment was like, I see. I guess I never thought about that. And like I said, I thank everyone for like wanting to help us, but it's hard when, you get a box of food and you have no idea how to cook it. So that's the key word that you just mentioned.
Right. And I mean, what's really great too are beans and rice and eggs are all very high protein, low cost foods. So that's amazing too. That probably you're able to do more with less money when you're buying those particular foods too. Um, so at this point now, we're kind of coming through, not completely, but we're kind of coming out of the pandemic. And we're hoping that continues, that trend continues, that things continue to get better with the vaccine. What is your vision now going forward with Knock and Drop? What are you wanting to accomplish with this
We will
organization?
still we will still continue to feed our community regardless. Before or after the pandemic, we've realized that this is something that was needed in central Iowa, and we want to help others. We want to help others how to start it, because we kept on knocking on doors. We didn't join other organizations until later on, because it was harder for us. We didn't have a 501c3. We didn't have what they were requiring. And so we just kept knocking on the door until we were able to get everything that we needed to be able to become, that Latino food pantry. And so we've done other things besides the food. Just to give you an idea, we adopted 150 kids for coats. And so we gave 150 children coats. Then we adopted 30 mothers for Mother's Day, 30 families for Thanksgiving, and we were able to sponsor 65 families for Christmas. So there's other things that we're working on that we want to continue helping our community. And right now we're trying to see if we can raise or receive funds to be able to give out scholarships to our youth. We have a lot of them out there that I know that they may be the first ones to go to college. So we want to be able to give them that support, because their parents don't know what it means to go to college. They don't know those steps. So in our community, we have a lot of hardworking people, and they teach their kids how to be hard workers. And so we want to be able to teach them that it's not just hardworking, but also going for a better future. So your child can have a better future. And so we want to be able to give out school grants and stuff like that. But, little by little, I think we've accomplished a lot, and I'm sure we're going to do that.
Um, Well, I am really looking forward to seeing what your organization continues to do in the Des Moines community. Is there anything else you would like to share?
Nothing. I just think one big thing is si se puede. We can join forces and we can, do what we need to do. And if we all join together, we can make so many more changes. And if anybody is out there in your own city or your county and you want to be able to do what I did, trust me, I had no idea what I was doing, but I've been able to do it. I work full time and I'm a full volunteer in my organization, and anyone can do it. If you have the heart for it, I'm here. I can help you step by step on how to do things.
Thank you so much, Zuli. You're a great inspiration, and you're doing some great work in the community. So thank you for doing that and stepping up.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you for inviting me.